Hello grade 8 students. Today we are going to discuss a third term test paper, a past paper. This is Southern Province 2018, the third term test paper. Let's go through these questions and see whether we can remember the theories that we have learned in grade 8. So these questions will be very helpful for you in order to get prepared for your third term test, which is coming up in the next month, right? So we have completed 3 papers for the moment. So that is why we have started the next paper, the fourth paper. That is why we have started from question number 61. So when it comes to the previous papers, each paper carried 20 questions. So that is why we are starting from question number 61 today. Okay, right. A set is given as A, right, that set is letters of the word elements. So we have the word elements, and what is asking from us is write down the elements of the set A and find what is this? This is number of elements in set A, right? So asking us write down the elements of this set A. Pute. Now one important thing that we need to remember is when we listing the elements of a set, we do not repeat the same element. We do not duplicate the same element, right? So what are the letters we have? We have letter E. Let's put a comma to separate, then L. Next E, we have to neglect it. We are not considering that element because we have already written letter E previously. M. E again removing. N. T. S. Right. So what is this NA? Number of elements we have in set A. So how many elements are there in this set A? NA is equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 elements in this set. 3, 6, 9, 12. Write the next 2 terms of the number pattern and find the general term. Right, here you go. 3, 6, 9, 12. What are the next 2 terms? We have 15. The next one is 18. Can you remember? What are these? What are these numbers? These are multiples of 3. Can you remember? These are multiples of 3. So when it comes to a multiple of a number, right, writing the general term is very easy. So how to write the general term? General term, normally we are representing it as Tn. General term of this number sequence, we can write it as 3 times n. So 3 times n. If you want the first term, what we have to do is substitute n along with a. So 3 times 1, 3. If you want the second term, 3 in terms of n, you are substituting 2. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 6, 18. So the general term of this number sequence, number pattern is 3 times n. Alright, let's move on. Question number 63. Right. Find the perimeter of this figure. Right, we have given a figure. In order to find out the perimeter, now when it comes to perimeter, if you are to find the perimeter, normally we need the length from here to here. We need the length from here to here. Right, these values has not been given, right? But in this case, what we can do is here, let me draw this line segment over here. I can draw this line segment over here and then again connect it from here to here. So what I have done is me metana tibba ඉර මෙතනින් අයින් කරලා so I have brought it up to here. I have removed this line segment from here and I have brought it to here. Perimeter, can you remember? So what we have to do is we have to take the total length along this given what you call the figure, no? So we have not done any change for the length. අපි වෙනස් කරේ නැහැ දිග තියෙන තැන පොඩ්ඩක් එහෙ මෙහෙ කරන්න ඔට්ටුයි හොඳේ. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. තියෙන තැන වෙනස් කරා කියලා length එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහනේ. So I only changed the placement. I didn't do anything for the length. I just changed the placement. Right. Can someone tell me the distance from here to here now? What is the distance from here to here? This 2 centimeters plus 3 centimeters, 5. Therefore, this length also should be equals to 5. Here to here also should be equals to 6. Now, we know the length of all the 4 sides. This is a rectangle. So, how to find out the perimeter? 5 plus this 5 plus this 5. And then we have 6 plus 6. 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6. 5 plus 5, 10. 10 plus 16. 16 plus 6 is 22 centimeters. 64, simplify. 64 is asking us to simplify, right? Pute, negative 5 into negative 6. Negative number multiplying with a negative number. So you will be getting a positive number. Negative number into a negative number, answer is a positive number. So 5 times 6 is 30. Negative 5 into negative 6 equals positive 30. Then we have to divide that positive 30 from negative 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Positive number dividing by a negative number, answer is negative number. Final answer, negative 15. Negative 15. Okay? Right? 65. Question number 65. P equals minus 3. Q equals minus 2. Find the value of P squared plus 3Q. P equals minus 3. Q equals minus 2. Find the value of P squared plus 3Q. Now this P squared, we can write it as P times P. So P times P gives you P to the power 2 P squared. And then we have plus 3Q, right? Now P is equals to minus 3. Minus 3 times minus 3 plus 3 times Q is minus 2. Q is minus 2, right? Let's try to get the answer. Minus 3 times minus 3 is positive 9. Minus 3 times minus 3 is positive 9. Positive 3 times minus 2 is negative 6. Alright, or else otherwise if you want, we can put this addition symbol here. We can get the answer in this particular way as well. Okay, let's put this addition symbol here. Adding what? 3 times negative 2, negative 6. This is also a correct method. Negative 9 plus negative 6. What is the answer? We have to add two directed numbers which are having two opposite directions. So how to get the answer? So when it comes to these two numbers, answer should be a positive number, and then here we are taking the difference between 9 and 6. The difference between 9 and 6 is 3. Therefore the answer is positive 3. Alright. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. AOB is a straight line segment. AOB is a straight line segment. AOC is 90 degrees. This AOC angle equals 90 degrees. Name complementary angle of angle BOD. Right. So what is angle BOD? Here you go. This is angle BOD. Right. This is the angle BOD. Pute. So what are the things that we need to remember now? The complementary angle. What does it mean by a pair of complementary angles? What does it mean by a pair of complementary angles? If the sum of two angles equals 90 degrees, right? Let's say for an example, we have AOB angle which is 40 degrees. And then we have AO, let's say CAOC 50 degrees. Now the sum of these two angles, can you all understand? The sum of these two angles equals 90 degrees. If the sum of two angles equals 90 degrees, such pair of angles we are calling them as a pair of complementary angles. So the complementary angle of BOD, right? Can you all understand this particular angle and this particular angle? The sum of these two angles should be equals to 90 degrees. Am I clear enough? Because this white color angle, AOC angle 90 degrees, that means the COB, the opposite angle, should be equals to 90 degrees as well. Now, what is the complementary angle of angle BOD? Complementary angle of angle BOD is this remaining angle, that is COD. Right? Complementary angle is COD. Correct? Right. Asking us the next question, supplementary angles. Now complementary means if the sum is 90 degrees, these are complementary angles. If the sum of two angles are 180 degrees, these are calling as supplementary angles. Right. Let's consider this example. Pute. We have an angle, let's say 60 degree angle, and then we have an angle which is with the magnitude is 120 degree angle. This is, let's consider it as 60. This angle is 120. The sum of these two angles will be 180, right? So such pair of angles are calling as a pair of supplementary angles, right? So what is the supplementary angle of angle BOD? Here you go. BOD is the same angle. So what is the angle creates 180 degree along with BOD? Along with BOD. BOD එකත් එක්ක 180 degree angle එකක් හදන අනිත් angle එක කවුද? This green color one. What is the angle? AOD. Now this AOD and DOB both together, right? The sum of the two angles will be equals to 180 degrees. Therefore, the supplementary angle of BOD is AOD. Clear enough? Alright? Is that clear? Remember these terms. These will be definite questions in your third term examination. Okay, moving on. Right. The area of a square shaped board is 100. Printing mistake. Correct this. Not cubic centimeters, square centimeters. The area of square shaped chessboard is 400 square centimeters. find the length of a side. Pute, let's assume that the length, now let's consider this as a square. This particular polygon is a square. And let me consider length of one side as 10 centimeters. Length of a side 10 centimeters. My question, how are we going to find out the area of the square? Area of the square. So area of this square equals, how are we going to find out the area of a square? You just multiplying length of a side again with the length of a side. So length of a side 10 multiplying again with 10. Area of this square is 100 square centimeters. Now the question we have is, there is a square which the area is now equals 400. Area is 400 square centimeters. Asking us what is the length of a side. Asking us what is the length of a side, right? So it is not 10 centimeters, right? If the length is 10 centimeters, then the area is 100. So how are we going to get the answer? Just multiply and see. 15 times 15, multiply kala balan. If the length of a side is 15, then 15 times 15. What is that equals? Multiply kala ganna honde. That is 225. So this is not, so it means the length is more than 15 centimeters, right? Because the area is 400. If the length is 15 centimeters, then the area you are getting is 225. ඊට වඩා වැඩි කියලානේ මේ කියන්නේ. ඊට වඩා වැඩි වෙන්න ඕන කියලානේ මේ කියන්නේ. හරි. මොකද කියන්නේ? Just multiply 20 by 20 and see. So let's put a 0 digit at the end. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2, 400, right? So what does this means? So what should be the length of a side of the square? It should be equals to 20 centimeters. Length of a side should be equals to 20 centimeters. All right. Right. 68. If the train fare is increased by 15%, find the extra amount which have to pay for a person who paid 80 rupees for a ticket earlier. If the train fare is increased by 15%, train fare is increased by 15%, find the extra amount which have to pay for a person who paid 80 rupees for a ticket earlier. Now this person earlier he paid 80 rupees. Now the price of a ticket is increased by 15%. Shall we first find, we basically have to find out the extra amount he is paying now, no? So basically what we have to do here is, you just need to find out 15% out of 80 rupees. Shall we give a try? Let's find out 15% of, we are going to find out 15% of 80 rupees. That means 15 over 100. 15% I have written it as a fraction. 15 over 100. Instead of word of, we can put multiplication and then 80. So 15 over 100 into 80. So how to simplify this now? Right? 15 over 100 into 80. Pute. Now this both 80 and 100. Numerator and the denominator, both the numbers are divisible by 20. Shall we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 20? 80 divided by 20 is 4. 100 divided by 20 is 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. I hope you are clear on this. Is that clear? We divided 80 by 20. 80 divided by 20 is 4. We divided 100 by 20. 100 divided by 20 is 5. After that we had 15 and this number 5 in the denominator. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. The remaining number in the numerator is 4. So 3 times 4, answer is 12 rupees. Pute, 15% of 80 rupees equals 12 rupees. So now what is the extra amount which have to pay? So 15% out of 80 is the extra amount you have to pay, right? So what is the extra amount now we have to pay? This 12 rupees. So what is the new price of the ticket? 80 plus 12. New price is 92 rupees. Now asking us what is the extra amount we have to pay now. So the additional amount we have to pay is 12 rupees. Right? Moving on, question number 69. Draw two plane figures which can use to create regular tessellations. Can you remember regular tessellations? The tessellations done with regular polygons. Okay, right? So what can we construct? Can we do regular tessellation from all the types of regular polygons? Equiangular triangle, otherwise equilateral triangle is a regular polygon, right? Square is a regular polygon. All the sides are equal, all the angles are equal. Regular pentagon is a regular polygon. Regular hexagon is a regular polygon. Now, can we use all these types of regular polygons in order to construct regular tessellations? No. So, what are the possible polygons that we can use in order to construct regular polygons? Sorry, regular tessellation, right? We can use a square. Draw two, no? So we have to draw a square. Otherwise, we can use a regular hexagon, right? We can use regular hexagon to do regular tessellations. What else? Yes, Kianda. Is it all? We have one more. If you want, we can use equilateral triangle as well. We can use equilateral triangles as well in order to construct regular polygons. Right, we have to draw, right? So you have to draw either two of these three. Equilateral triangle. Otherwise, you can use a square to construct regular tessellations. And otherwise, a regular hexagon. You can use a regular hexagon as well. Find the value. We have given a decimal number to multiply with a decimal number. So how are we going to multiply these two decimal numbers? Right. Now for the moment, let's do a thing like this. Let's forget about decimal point for a moment. Can you just multiply 142 instead of 1.42? Let's multiply 142 just by 2. Get the answer, will you quickly? Just multiply 142 by 2. So once you multiply 142 by 2, the answer is 284. Now let's put the decimal point at the correct placement. So 1.42, 0.2. So what's the method to get the answer? Now let's count the digits you have after the decimal point in the first number. So we have 2 digits after the decimal point. Now when it comes to the second value, we have 1 digit after the decimal point. So altogether there should be 3 digits after the decimal point in your answer. In order to have 3 digits after the decimal point, now think a little and tell me where we need to put the decimal point. So we have to have 3 digits after the decimal point. If you put the decimal point here, we will be only having 1 digit after the decimal point. If I put the decimal point here, I will be having 2 digits after the decimal point. If I put the decimal point here, then I am having 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal point. So let's put a 0 digit in front of this decimal point. So the final answer is 0.284. 0.284. Write the inequality represented on this number line. Write the inequality represented on this number line. Inequality represented on this number line. Write the inequality represented on right. Here you go. We have a value x. The value of x is greater, right? The value is greater than minus 1. Now, how are we reading this? Minus 1 is less than x. X is greater than 1. Both are correct, okay? We are reading from left hand side to right hand side. So, now the whatever the values you have in between these two, right? So, that particular value should be greater than minus 1. But it should be equal or less than 3, because this number 3 is shaded. That means it can be equal to number 3 as well. So can you remember this inequality lesson? If it is equal, you are shading the circle. If it is not equal, you just draw a circle, right? So the inequality represented on this number line is this: negative 1 is less than x and x is equal or less than 3. That is the answer. Negative 1 is less than x and x is equal or less than 3. Correct? Clear? Okay? Alright. Right. When preparing a fruit salad, banana and pepper are mixed in the ratio 3 to 5. Banana and pepper mixed into the ratio of 3 to 5. Watermelon, what else? Pepper and watermelon. Pepper and watermelon mixed into the ratio of 4 to 3. This is going to be a good question. Find the ratio of, right, asking us the ratio of banana to pepper to watermelon. That is what he is asking. Here banana to pepper the ratio is 3 to 5. Pepper to watermelon the ratio is 4 to 3. Right? Can you remember when it comes to fractions, when we adding two fractions, we had to get a common denominator, right? And when it comes to ratio, using we sometimes we are taking the equivalent ratios, right? Okay, right. Now here, can you? I hope you can understand. We have term pepper here, and also we have term pepper here as well. Here the value is represented as 5. Here the value is represented at 4. If we can come up with a number which is both commonly available for these two terms, pepper here and pepper here, then we can connect these two ratios, right? So the number we have in here is 5. The number we have in here is 4. Least common factor of 3 and 4, least common factor of 4 and 5, 20. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to convert this number 5 into 20. I'm going to convert this number 4 also into 20. Right, check. Let me multiply this number 5 by 4. 5 times 4, 20. So I have to do the same thing to this term as well. Equivalent ratios. So let's multiply 3 also by 4. Pute, 3 times 4, 12. 5 times 4 is 20. Right. This number 4, let me multiply it by 5 because I want to get number 20 here. The common value as 20. And if you multiply 4 by 5, then let's multiply this number 3 also by 5. Equivalent ratios. 4 times 5, 20. Here you go. 3 times 5 is 50. Right. The number represented Papo is 20. Number represent Papo is 20. Now banana to Papo is 12 to 20. Papo to watermelon is 20 to 15. So what is banana to Papo to watermelon? 12 to 20 to 15. Clear? So the ratio banana to Papo to watermelon is 12 to 20 to 50. Right. 73. Is it clear? 73. Show that 6 to the power 3 is given by 8 times 27. Show that 6 to the power 3 is given by 8 times 27. Right. So what is 6 times 3 equals 6 into 6 into 6. So what is 6 into 6 to the power 6, not 6 times 3, 6 to the power 3 equals, what is 6 to the power 3 equals? 6 times 6 is 36. Let's multiply 36 again by 6. 6 times 6, 36 again, we have 3 left. 6 times 3, 18, 18 plus 3 is 21, 216. Right. So 6 to the power 3 is equals 216. Let's check what 8 into 27 equals to. So what is 27 times 8 equals? 8 times 7, 56, we have 5 left. 8 times 2, 16 plus 5, 216. So 8 times 27 is 216. 6 to the power 3 is 216. So both them are equal now. There is another method. We can write 2 as 8 as 2 to the power 3. So I'm not going to take that here. Right. So how to get the answer? 6 to the power 3 equals 6 times 6 times 6. You have to show this. That is equals 216. So 27 times 8, otherwise 8 times 26, 27, 216. Therefore, 6 to the power 3 simply equals 8 times 27. Right. 74. Solve this given equation. Solve this given equation. Right. So a over 3 minus 2 equals 1. First mathematical operation, first thing we have to do here is let's add 2 for both the sides. I'm adding 2 for both the sides. So now what happens? Negative 2 and positive 2 will be equals to 0. So we will be only having a over 3 in my left hand side, which is equals to 1 plus 2 is 3. The next step is let's multiply both the sides of this equation by 3, because I want to eliminate this 3 in the denominator in my left hand side. Put a 3 divided by 3 is 1. You will be only having term a in your left hand side. 3 times 3 gives you 9. Answer a equals positive 9. A equals positive 9. Alright, clear? Okay. Right. Shall we move on to the next one? Show that regular octahedron is satisfy the Euler's relationship. Right. What does it mean by Euler's relationship? May? What does it mean by Euler's relationship? Right. When you consider a solid, number of faces and number of vertices, faces plus vertices, the sum of faces and vertices should equals to number of edges plus 2. So this is calling as Euler's, some are calling this as Euler's relationship as well. Number of faces, number of vertices, the sum of these two faces, these faces and vertices equals edges plus 2. Right. Now the thing is, now when it comes to an octahedron, right, can you remember the number of faces, vertices and edges? මතක තියෙන්න වෙනව නේද? මතක තියාගන්න. Number of faces, octahedron is having 8 faces. Number of vertices, how many vertices are there in an octahedron? 6, right? Edges is equals to 12. Octahedron, icosahedron, dodecahedron. මතක තියාගන්න ඔක්කොම ටික. හරිද? Octahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron. හරිද? Number of faces, vertices, edges. මතක තබා ගත යුතුයි. Otherwise you will, right, there will be definite questions from these lessons. Right. Okay. Let me consider now what we have to do is we have to prove that it satisfying the Euler's relationship. No. So this is Euler's relationship. So let's take the left hand side of the equation and right hand side of the equation. Let's take the values separately for left hand side and right hand side. And if these two are equal, if the left hand side value and the right hand side value is equal, then this is true. Right. So what you have in the left hand side of this equation? Number of faces plus number of vertices. We have number of faces plus vertices. So faces is 8, vertices is 6, 8 plus 6 is 14. Let's consider the right hand side of the equation. So in the right hand side of the equation, what we have is edges and then plus 2. Number of edges in an octahedron is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Right. Now the left hand side and the right hand side values are equal, same. So that means the Euler's relationship is true for a regular octahedron. Right. So that's enough, right? So left hand side is equals to right hand side. So if you can write the Euler's relationship like this and the left hand side and the right hand side values are separately, you will get the marks. When the time in Kuala Lumpur in positive 8 time zone is 21 hours. So we have the city Kuala Lumpur It is in the positive 8 time zone. The time is 21 hours. Find the time in Sri Lanka which is in 5.5, positive 5.5 time zone. So positive 5.5. Pute, a very simple thing that we need to understand. 5.5 to 8, what is the difference? 6.5, 7.5, 8. So 2.5. So the time taken from one time zone to other time zone, if it is positive 5 and positive 6, may මෙහෙම තිබුණා නා මතකද ඔයාට මේ let's say we what happened? Oh, okay. Right, doesn't matter. Let's start from the beginning. Right, let's say we have a city which is in the positive 5 time zone. Let's say we have another city which is in the positive 6 time zone. If the time of this city is, let's say, 10 in the morning, 10 hours, what is the time in this particular city? The time difference between two time zones is 1 hour, right? Can you remember? So the time is 11 hours. ඕකනේ කියන්නේ? Right? So according to the information given in the question, what it says? So Kuala Lumpur in the positive 8 time zone, time is 21 hours. We have a city in positive 5.5 time zone, asking the time. So the difference between 5.5 and 8 is 2.5. So that means the difference between time is 2.5 hours. So time is subtracting 2.5 to here. So 21 hours minus 2 hours and 30 minutes. We want to take the time in Sri Lanka, no? So time reducing towards this direction, time is adding towards this direction, right? So 60 minus 30 is 30, 20 minus 2 is 18. So the time in Sri Lanka is 18 hours and 30 minutes. 18 hours and 30 minutes. Mass of 3 equal bangles. Next question, 77. Mass of 3 equal bangles is 8 grams and 70 milligrams. Find the mass of a bangle. Correct this printing mistake. Right? Mass of 3 equal bangles is 8 grams and 70 milligrams. Find the mass of a bangle. Shall we convert the total mass in terms of milligrams? 8 grams and 70 milligrams. Tell me this total amount in terms of milligrams. Total amount in terms of milligrams, 8070 milligrams. So 8070 milligrams is the mass of 3 bangles. Asking us the mass of 1 bangle. So let's divide 8070. Let's divide 8070 by 3. 2 times 3, 6. 20 divided by 3 is 6 times 20 is 6 times 3 is 18. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Remainder is 0, 0, 0. Right? So what is the mass of a bangle? Mass of a bangle. Mass of a bangle 2690 milligrams. That means 2 grams and 690 milligrams. 2 grams and 690 milligrams. All right, 77. Am I correct? Yes, right? Right. Find the value of y. We have given a triangle. Sum of all the external angles of a triangle is equals to 360 degrees. Right. So that I can write an equation saying y plus 125 plus 125 equals 360. Y plus 125 plus 125 250 equals 360. Asking us the value of y. Y plus 250 minus 250 equals 360 minus 250. Cancelling 250 with minus 250, y equals 110 degrees. So the value of y is 110 degrees. Pute, find the area of the shaded region. Shall we consider the shaded region as this, the orange color portion? I want you to find out the area of this orange color portion. Now it is given, this figure is as a square. So let's first find out the area of the square. Let's first find out the area of the square. Let's find out the area of the square. Harida, right? So let's first find out the area of the square. Area of square. Area of square is length of a side is 6 multiplying by 6, that is 36 square centimeters. Now I hope you know how to find out the area of this triangle. So base is 6 centimeters, perpendicular height is 4 centimeters. Harine? Neda? Right. So area of triangle. Area of triangle half times base into perpendicular height. This is the equation we use. Perpendicular height. Harida? Right. So half times the base is 6 centimeters. Perpendicular height is 4 centimeters. 6 times 4 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12 square centimeters. Area of shaded region. Area of shaded region. Area of shaded region equals 36 minus 12 kiyaida 24 square centimeters. Area of the shaded region is 24 square centimeters. Got it? Clear? Good questions. Okay. Right. 80. Verify using two examples that the sum of two consecutive triangular numbers is a square number. Right. Shall we first write the first 10 square numbers? Let's quickly list down the first 10 square numbers. Quickly tell me what are the first 10 square numbers. 1, second square number 2 times 2, 4. Next square number 3 times 3, 9. Next square number 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 5, 25. 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 10, 100. So these are square numbers. These are square numbers. Right? So shall we list down the triangular numbers as well? So I'm not taking a lot of time. Right? Let's quickly move on. First triangular number is 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 5, 15. 15 plus 6, 21. 21 plus 7, 28. 28 plus 8, 36. 36 plus 9, 45. 45 plus 10, 55. ඇති වෙයිනේ. හරි. ඇති වෙයිද? Right. මේ බලන්න. Let me consider two consecutive කියන්නේ එක ළඟ තියෙන triangular numbers. මේ බලන්න. Once you consider these two consecutive triangular numbers, පුතේ. Here you go. 1 plus 3 gives you 4, a square number. What else? 6 plus 10 gives you 16. මේ දෙන්න එක ළඟ දෙන්නෙක් එකතු කරාම 16 හම්බ වෙනවා. තව ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. මේ 10 plus 15 25. examples දෙකක් දෙන්න කියලානේ කියන්නේ. 15 plus 21 36. ඇති අප්පා. තියෙනවනේ. Right? Verifying two examples that the sum of two consecutive triangular numbers is a square number. හරිද? මේ ඔයන නිකන් ලියලත් පෙන්නමු. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 3 plus 6 equals 9. 6 plus 10 equals 16. මේගොල්ලෝ consecutive කියන්නේ එක ළඟ තියෙන අය. Alright? Okay? Right. So with that question we have completed 20 questions today. Right? Altogether we have completed 80 questions so far. Right? Next week we will be completing question number 100. That means we will be completing the paper number 5 as well for you to get prepared for your third term test. Right? Do these questions again and refresh your knowledge about what we have learned so far in terms of grade 8. And if you find any difficult questions, just drop me a message to this number 0712 329 129. This is my number. So you can get any information regarding the questions or else regarding our classes as well. Alright. See you again in another video. Until then, goodbye.